Welcome back to Shifting Veils. I'm Michelle, curator of curiosities and part-time barker for the bazaar.
And I'm Isaiah, resident time traveler and unofficial incubator historian.
Today we're peeling back the striped canvas of Coney Island to reveal a tale of freakish spectacle and fragile survival.
From sword swallowers and bearded ladies to tiny lives cradled in glass boxes, this is the story of how Martin Couney turned sideshow into salvation.
It's a medical innovation wrapped in carnival bark, and it might just shift how you see the line between exploitation and empathy.
At the dawn of the 20th century, New York's Coney Island emerged as a glittering beacon of leisure and excitement, drawing throngs of eager pleasure seekers from all walks of life who yearned for escape, enchantment, and the thrill of seaside amusement. Visitors flocked to the shoreline not only for the sun-warmed sands and the rhythmic hush of the waves, but for the full spectacle of seaside enchantment. They came chasing the thrill of the amusements, wooden roller coasters rattling over the boardwalk, calliope music spilling from penny arcades, and the scent of saltwater taffy curling through the air. As twilight fell, the scene transformed. Gas lamps flickered to life, casting a golden glow over the promenade, while arc lights buzzed above the sideshow tents, illuminating painted banners that promised wonders and oddities beyond imagination. It was a place where the ordinary blurred into the marvelous, and every corner held the promise of laughter, astonishment, or a story to carry home.
Now I want saltwater taffy.
Does that have a certain smell to it when it's being made?
It just smells like saltwater taffy, which is
What's,
yummy.
what's
Have you ever had it?
yeah. Uh,
You don't like it?
Sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I think it just depends on the brand, possibly.
Possibly. I think I'm gonna have to go find some later today.
There you go.
It's a place where laughter spilled from legendary amusement parks that have enchanted generations. Its iconic 2.5 mile boardwalk stretches like a ribbon of nostalgia along the Atlantic, a stage for sun-drenched strolls and cinematic,
Cinematic.
cinematic moments. Film crews flock to its storied shores, drawn by its timeless charm, while the humble hot dog, born here in a
The glizzy.
the glizzy. Why do I repeat everything you say?
I do the same thing. You don't notice that?
Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't know.
You said
Anyway,
cinematic moments, and I said cinematic.
did you ever watch the show? I'm sorry, guys. Little rabbit trail. You ever watch the show? I think it's in the middle. Is that the show where Brick, that character, that guy? His name is
I,
Brick.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, well, there's this kid. He would like repeat under his breath things that people would say. Like someone would be like, "Let's go to the library," and he'd go, "Library," under his under his breath. So yeah, I do that. I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, both you and I've noticed it, and I think it's funny that you finally actually brought it up. But anytime I mess up a word, you repeat it, and with
Uh,
laughter, and
yeah, I
every
think my brain is just digesting it.
and
Maybe
it's the same way on the other side too. Every time you mess up, I'll say the same thing with a little bit of laughter.
we're just making fun of each other
I think
in
so.
a nice way. Maybe. Is it nice? I don't know. I'm not being mean.
I think
And
it
maybe
might
I
be.
am.
I think it might be nice on my side.
Uh, I don't know. I've done that before and it's irritated some people. I'm not trying to be mean.
So
I just think
anyway,
it's
the
funny.
the the timeless glizzy. The
So the hot dog was born there in a burst of culinary rebellion, and it remains a savory symbol of summer joy. Scattered among the bustling amusement parks were curious little sideshows, gaudy tents, and makeshift stages that beckoned with painted signs and promises of wonder. For a modest fee, onlookers could step inside and behold the strange, the remarkable, or the downright unbelievable. A bearded lady with a voice like velvet, a contortionist who folded like paper, or a two-headed calf preserved in glass. These spectacles, equal parts mystery and mischief, offered a fleeting escape into the bizarre, where disbelief was suspended and the extraordinary felt just within reach. I'm sorry, I started laughing again because I was thinking, people, You people that listen to this podcast, are you just listening like because there's a couple of weirdos reading stuff and laughing about how they can't read very good? Is that what keeps you around? Because I
They're,
feel like that's what's happening.
I don't know if they ever made a two-headed glizzy.
A two-headed glizzy. What would that look like? When would that just be a double dog? I don't
I double glizzy dare you.
That's too much. That's too much hot dog.
During various periods in the early 1900s, sideshows featured individuals whose unusual appearances, body sizes, abilities, or talents set them apart from societal norms. Traits that, while captivating to audiences, often made it challenging for them to secure traditional employment. Baron Pauci, Pauci.
Pachi?
Was it
Pouchy.
Pachi? Because I
I don't
said
know.
Pauci yesterday. I think I said Pauci.
Yeah, we'll go with Pouchy.
Pauci, a spirited Italian entertainer standing just 24 inches tall, was a beloved fixture of the sideshow circuit. A pint-sized spectacle with outsized charm.
Megapint. Megapint size spectacle.
Guys, I don't know what that is. I mean,
Megapint.
decide. Yeah, what do you?
You didn't watch the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard
No,
court
I
battle?
avoid all celebrity courts.
It was okay.
The
So
the 6 years that every celebrity like court procedure has to take. No, I refuse to watch that
her
crap.
attorney was like, "Isn't it at this time, Mr. Depp, that you poured yourself a mega pint of I can't remember what it was, wine or something like that?" And everybody was like, Johnny Depp was like, "Well, I don't know if it was a mega pint, but it was a pint." But yeah, it just became like a meme, a mega pint. What the hell is a mega pint?
I don't know. See, the thing I remember from that whole thing and people making jokes about was the shitting in the bed, which me and you made before was the shitting in the bed, hitting in the head with the bread.
Yeah, well, there was the other one too, where her dog stepped on a bee and then she made a
Oh,
horrible
yeah,
face.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yep,
Anyway.
yep. This episode is full of rabbit trails and talks about things that have nothing to do with the main subject. So anyway, you're talking about Pouchy or Pachi.
Yes. Dressed to the nines in racetrack finery, he reveled in the thrill of the horses, the sparkle of champagne, and
Champagne.
and the
That's like
glamour of
Bologna.
yes, that's the correct way to say it. Bologna,
Okay. Do you
Bologna,
know?
champagne, jalapeno.
I would like a glass of champagne, please,
Yes, you're fine at champagne.
to go with my cheese and Bologna.
That's correct.
I grew up saying bologna.
With slices of salami.
Did you know? Do you know in South Africa they call bologna polony?
I did not know that.
Yeah, polony. I wonder if it's pologna also.
I don't know. You know
Anyway,
people you can ask.
I'm gonna ask. I'll let you know.
With a wink and a wicked grin, Pouchy was a notorious ladies' man, particularly gifted at wooing statuesque women who've found his boldness irresistible. His
Must have been a
romantic
mega pint. Carry on.
His romantic escapades eventually led to a brief marriage with a woman of average height, though the union proved short-lived. Behind the charm, Pouchy carried a sharp tongue, one that, despite its wit, often veered into trouble. His penchant for a colorful language ultimately cost him his place in the show, but not before he left behind a legacy of flamboyance, flirtation, and fearless flair.
Each summer day in 1917, up to 30,000 curious souls shuffled through the gates of Dreamland Circus Sideshow, their pace slow, their eyes wide with wonder. For 20 minutes, they wandered through a world that defied the ordinary, a living cabinet of curiosities where the strange and the spectacular stood proudly on display. Among the lineup were figures who blurred the line between myth and reality: the enigmatic bear girl, cloaked in mystery and fur; the bearded lady, regal and unflinching beneath her crown of curls; a man who moved with grace despite the absence of legs, and a woman whose stature, just 34 inches tall, commanded attention with every glance. An Arabian sword swallower
Now
dazzled with.
that's
Hmm?
now that's a mega pint. If the other one was pint size, this one's a mega pint. She's got 10 inches on him.
True. Wow. Yeah. He was just 2 foot tall, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's a mini pint. She's the mega pint.
I was thinking he was just regular pint. She's mega
Okay.
pint.
He's a regular pint. She's a mega pint. It makes sense. You're right. An Arabian sword swallower dazzled with feats of daring, while a 103-year-old bushman danced with wild abandon, his movements echoing stories older than the boardwalk itself, and beyond them, a handful more, each one a marvel, each one a question mark in human form.
It was spectacle, yes, but also a ritual of awe, a daily pilgrimage into the uncanny, where the boundaries of body and story bent beneath the striped tents of Coney Island. Among the most talked about performers in the heyday of American sideshows was a man known to audiences as Zip the What Is It, a name crafted to stir curiosity and wonder. Discovered and promoted by the legendary showman P.T. Barnum himself, Zip became a fixture of 19th century spectacle, his appearance and story woven into the fabric of circus lore. Born William Henry Johnson in the 1840s, Zip was a black man with a microcephaly, a condition that gave him a notably small head and limited cognitive development. Rather than presenting him with dignity, promoters spun a fantastical tale that Zip was a mysterious creature from the wilds of Africa, raised among apes and brought to civilization for public marvel. This fabricated origin story, though deeply problematic by today's standards, was typical of the era's sideshow sensationalism. Zip's image, his tiny head crowned with a tuft of hair, his tailored costumes, and his silent performances, became iconic. He was contracted exclusively for summer exhibitions and spent the rest of the year traveling with the circus, captivating audiences across the country. Despite the exploitive nature of his fame, Zip lived a long life, passing away in 1926 at the age of 84. His funeral was a poignant reflection of the community he had known. Pallbearers included fellow performers such as the Fat Girl, the Tattooed Lady, the Human Skeleton, and Clico the Bushman. Together they honored a man whose life, however shaped by spectacle, had left an indelible mark on the world of performance and the strange storied realm of the American sideshow.
At the turn of the century, Coney Island was a carnival of curiosities, but none shone brighter than jolly Irene. Among the many fat ladies who graced the boardwalk stages, Irene was beloved not for her size alone, but for the radiance she exuded. Her laughter was a balm, her presence a celebration. At her peak, she weighed 689 pounds, yet her figure carried its enormity with a strange grace, her bulk evenly spread like a living sculpture of abundance. Her transformation was born not of indulgence, but of heartbreak. In 1901, Irene was a striking young woman of 120 pounds, full of promise and beauty. But after giving birth at age 21, her body betrayed her. Her endocrine system spiraled, and the pounds came relentlessly. She joined the circus for a time, a marvel on the move, until the rail cars could no longer accommodate her. When told she must ride in the baggage car, she refused with dignity and fire.
I'm
Con-
curious. I'm
oh,
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I'm curious as to how the cars were back then because we've got some cars that carry, livestock across the country.
yeah.
So I would wonder like what the how the cars are different from then to now. Not
Yeah, I
that it
don't
has
know.
anything to do with her or anything, but just curious. Just a curious thought.
Yeah, I don't know. But, good for her for refusing. I mean, maybe they could accommodate her, but they didn't want to accommodate her because they wanted to fit more people. I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe it was the type of because this is why I think it's the type of car. Maybe because it was between the baggage car, which may have been built to carry more uh, heavier stuff, the way the floor and everything was built,
Yeah,
as opposed to a luxury car, where people are sitting back and drinking their champagne and everything.
champagne. Yeah, I think I could see her offense
Mm-hmm.
because, she's she's a star of a show
Mm-hmm.
and you want to put her in the baggage car.
Right.
You need to
Absolutely.
accommodate her. That's just it. I think anybody of any type of celebrity would do the same thing, would feel the same way.
Hey, girl, you know who I am?
Right?
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
have
yeah.
any idea who I am? Yeah. Coney Island became her sanctuary. There she built a platform, not of shame, but of joy. Crowds came by the thousands, not to mock, but to marvel. Her spirit was infectious, sunny, defiant, and full of life. Jolly Irene turned tragedy into spectacle, and spectacle into communion. She was not merely seen, she was cherished. So, see, refusing the baggage car actually was a good thing for her.
See, but that also has like I don't know what you would call it, but like she was not merely seen, but she was cherished. But
Hmm.
she was being told that she needs to be in the baggage car. How is she cherished at
Hmm.
that point?
Right, but on Coney Island she was. And that's good. People enjoyed her for her laughter and her spirit,
Right.
you know. So I think she was probably seen more as a person on Coney Island than she was with the traveling circus, perhaps.
And that makes more sense. That makes
Mm,
that makes pretty good sense because when there was the traveling circus and stuff like that didn't have as good as a reputation as say a stationary. It's very much so
right.
like traveling fairgrounds. You
And you're
know.
not going to have regulars like you would on Coney Island. There were probably people that went every weekend.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
they would go expecting to see her and, and enjoying her infectious laughter and all of that. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's good. Love, it turns out, was no stranger to the sideshow. Though many outsiders assumed the lives of Coney Island's performers were lonely or strange, the truth was far more tender. Behind the velvet curtains and carnival lights, many found companionship, devotion, and even domestic bliss. Jolly Irene, radiant as ever, married a second time, this time to a fellow Coney Islander who adored her spirit as much as her sides. And Jane Barnell, known to the world as Lady Olga, wore her 13-inch beard like a crown and walked down the aisle not once, but 4 times, each marriage a testament to her fierce independence and charm.
Romance bloomed in the most unexpected pairings. Priscilla, the monkey girl, whose body was cloaked in thick hair due to a rare condition, found her soulmate in Benjano, the alligator boy, whose skin shimmered with the scaled geometry of ichthyosis. Together, they were a living fairy tale, two beings shaped by nature's eccentric brushstrokes, united by affection and resilience. In the world of the so-called freaks, love was not a punchline. It was a miracle, a rebellion, a quiet triumph, and it came in all forms, often stranger and sweeter than fiction. Harry Bolson, known as Spider Boy, had twisted legs and was frail, his spirit anything but. While other children ran, he crawled, and when they mocked him, he vanished into the woods where the trees became his sanctuary and stage. There, among the rustling leaves and tangled branches, Harry taught himself to swing like Tarzan, his arms growing sinewy and strong, his hands nimble as a trapper's. He could dangle from a limb by his teeth, set snares for birds with fingers quick as lightning, and travel miles balanced on his palms alone. I can barely travel miles balanced on my feet alone. Whispers spread through nearby towns of the boy who could bite a half-dollar clean in two, who moved like a creature born of bark and shadow. Fear followed fascination. Eventually, the world tried to cage him. He was locked away in a mental institution, a place meant to contain what it could not understand. But Harry twisted the iron bars of his cell like twigs and slipped into the night. And some say he's still out there. An old farmer found him, ragged and wild-eyed, and offered shelter. For a time, Harry lived quietly until the carnival came rumbling through with its painted wagons and calliope songs. They saw in him not a misfit, but a marvel. He became a spider boy, the sideshow sensation, half myth, half man, all spectacle. And when Harry reached Coney Island, the heart of American oddity, he took top billing. The boy who once swung through trees now soared through the imaginations of thousands, a legend spun from sorrow, strength, and the strange beauty of survival.
The so-called freaks may have drawn the crowds, curious eyes fixated on the four-legged woman, gasping at sword swallowers, marveling at Lionel the lion-faced man, but they weren't the only spectacle that lured coins from the pockets in the shadowy corners of the sideshow. Tucked beyond the grotesque and the daring was an exhibit unlike any other. A row of delicate, premature infants, swaddled in glass incubators, their tiny chests rising and falling like whispers against the hum of machinery. This wasn't a hospital. It was Luna Park. And the newest attraction? Not a beast, not a daredevil, but the fragile miracle of life itself. Premature babies in incubators, displayed like living curiosities in a carnival of wonders. Under the bright lights and carnival clamor, barkers, among them a dashing young Cary Grant, beckoned to curious passerbys with theatrical flair. Their voices rose above the din, promising wonder and marvel as they urged visitors to step inside and behold the tiny, fragile infants nestled in incubators. It was spectacle wrapped in sentiment, a strange fusion of showmanship and science, where premature babies became part of the attraction. Back in the early 20th century, the odds were grim for premature infants in the United States. Medical care was limited, neonatal technology was in its infancy, and many doctors considered these fragile newborns beyond saving. But one man refused to accept that fate.
Enter Martin Couney, a showman with a vision and a heart full of defiance. From 1903 to 1943, he transformed a corner of Coney Island into something extraordinary. A bustling sideshow exhibit where curious tourists could peer through glass at tiny premature babies nestled in state-of-the-art incubators. It was part spectacle, part miracle, and all heart. While others scoffed, Cooney quietly saved thousands of lives, turning entertainment into a radical act of care. In the shadow of turn-of-the-century medicine, premature birth was often a quiet tragedy. Hospitals lacked the resources, and many doctors lacked the will to fight for these fragile lives. But Martin Cooney did. His Coney Island exhibit became a sanctuary for the forgotten. Many of the infants arrived from nearby maternity wards, places that had no means to care for them, no hope to offer. Even Cooney's own daughter was born too soon, her tiny body not yet ready for the world. And she, too, spent the earliest days nestled in one of her father's incubators, on display not for spectacle, but survival.
For just a few coins, visitors stepped into a strange and wondrous space. Along the walls stood rows of gleaming incubators, each cradling a baby no bigger than a loaf of bread. Through the glass they saw limbs like twigs, skin like parchment, tiny beings suspended between life and loss. And yet in this unlikely theater of science and showmanship, hope flickered. You know, a loaf of bread's kind of big. I've seen preemies that were much smaller.
Well, I mean, if you bake, well, yeah, I would agree, but if you if you bake like your own loaf of bread, you got like the what is it like the 8-inch bread pan,
Yeah, true, and that's true. That's how, banana bread.
right? You get your specialty breads, your banana bread, your pumpkin
That
bread, and
makes
stuff like
sense.
that. You got the
Yeah.
smaller loaves as opposed to your fucking 15-inch loaf of bread.
So we're not talking about commercial loaves of bread you buy at the supermarket
No, we're not
every,
talking about
yeah,
baguettes.
right, right. We're talking about banana bread. Um, little tiny babies. The size or smaller than banana bread. Now I want banana bread.
Mm, heated with some butter on it.
Like fresh out of the oven with real
Mm-hmm.
butter.
Yeah.
Yep, sounds good. For 40 remarkable years, Martin Couney kept his incubator exhibits running, not as a business, but as a lifeline. He accepted premature infants from hospitals across the country, never charging a single dime to the desperate families who had nowhere else to turn. These tiny patients arrived swaddled in uncertainty, their futures hanging by a thread. Can you imagine that? Today, kids go and stay in the NICU, and build out the ass for it.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm curious as to how he created these machines with no money.
I don't know, he probably had money. He probably
Oh,
had money.
it could have came from the other attractions. I mean,
It's true. Yep. Yeah,
uh,
because he was there doing other stuff too, wasn't he? Doing other sideshows? I don't remember. I did a lot of research, but it's been a couple weeks since I did the research.
well, I know he didn't start here or start at Coney Island. He started over in Germany,
Mm,
uh,
he studied
Poland.
under a German doctor, but I think he was in France when he studied. I don't
Okay,
remember. Or did he study in Germany too?
I
I don't
think
know. He was a doctor.
he had a European doctor's license, but when he came over here, he couldn't be a doctor because he couldn't get the American license.
Maybe he was a philanthropist. Is that what they're called?
Philanthropist.
Philanthropist. Yeah. So maybe he just had some money to throw at it. Am I not saying the right word?
Philanthropist.
Philanthropist.
Yeah.
Am I not saying it right? Am I not?
Yeah, yeah. The first time it sounded yours, I don't know. I could be hearing.
Philanthropist. I
See, you were
think.
saying. I think that's what you were saying was the pro at the middle.
Yeah.
Philanthrop. Something. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Okay, moving on. But inside Cooney's exhibit, hope was on full display. Tourists flocked to see the miracle machines, gleaming incubators lined up like jewels, each cradling a baby no bigger than a doll. The sight of these fragile lives, warm and cocooned in glass, stirred something tender in the crowds. Their entrance fees helped fund the care, and slowly, astonishingly, thousands of babies were nursed back to health. It was compassion disguised as curiosity, and it saved lives.
Oh, there we go. We just learned as to what helped with the funding for it was the entrance fees.
Yeah, the
So
entrance fees helped keep it going. And you have to we have to remember there were nurses and doctors on hand. I don't know if they were doing this for free or if they were getting paid, you
pro
know.
bono.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be curious as to look a little more into this, just to
Mhm.
find out as to like how like the whole operation worked. Because I mean, you got to think he's got to keep the power running for these things. Like you said, he's got to like the nurses and stuff like that. Are they
Mhm.
all doing it just
Mhm.
out of the goodness of their hearts? Because if that's the case, I mean, that's a rare happening in the first place. But
Right.
yeah, I'm curious. Anyway. A woman named Lucille Horn, who was born prematurely in 1920, said, "It's strange, but as long as they saw me and I was alive, it was all right. I think it was definitely more of a freak show, something that they ordinarily did not see." Horn lived a long and remarkable life, reaching the age of 96, a quiet testament to the extraordinary legacy of Dr. Martin Cooney. She is one of thousands of fragile infants who defied the odds under his care. Cooney, a pioneer in neonatal medicine, famously claimed an astonishing 85% survival rate and credited his unconventional incubator exhibitions with saving the lives of more than 6,500 premature babies throughout his career. Horn's survival was not just a personal triumph, it was part of a sweeping and probable miracle that reshaped the future of infant care.
Okay, I did just look up the doctors and the nurses getting paid, and they were paid very well through the admission fees
Okay.
to see the exhibit.
Well, that's
So
really cool. Well, at least they
yeah,
were compensated in some way.
right, yeah, because there was around the clock care. I don't know like how. long the shows were open, like if they had a daily hours type thing. But with something an exhibit like that, you have to have around the clock care like you would a hospital.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say even without it being a show, they still need round the clock,
Hmm.
care. They've got
Right.
premature babies that need constant attention.
Right. Dr. Martin Cooney was no mere showman. He was a conjurer of second chances, a rebel healer who turned the garish glow of the Midway into a sanctuary. Beneath the striped tents and calliope music, he built a temple of glass and steel where premature infants, dismissed by hospitals, deemed too fragile for life, were cradled in warmth and watched over like miracles. These carnival babies, swaddled in incubators and hope, were not spectacles. They were survivors. And Cooney, with his flair for the theatrical and his refusal to charge desperate parents a dime, made the freak show a place of radical care. Around them, the so-called freaks, bearded ladies, conjoined twins, giants, and dwarves, stood not as curiosities, but as kin. They were the guardians of the strange, the beautiful, the unbroken. In Cooney's world, difference was not a defect. It was a badge of resilience. The Midway became a mythic liminal space where the cast-offs of polite society gathered not to be pitied, but to be seen, to be celebrated. Cooney's legacy is stitched into the fabric of every NICU, every premature breath drawn in sterile hospital light, but it began in the carnival's chaos, where the freaks danced and the babies lived. And maybe, just maybe, that's where healing belongs, in the places where we least expect it, among the people we're told to look away from.